I'd like to welcome everyone to this special edition of CSC Chat. My name is Julian Berrian. I am a professor of communication arts here at Chadron State College. Our special guest today is none other than Dr. Thomas Deane Tucker. Dr. Tucker, how long have you been here at Chadron State?
I've been here 26 years.
Okay, wow. Now, you've made your mark on this school with your first-year inquiry courses, English courses, and your take on film and media in general. And so my students in CA 215 audio production have some questions for you about your life, about your career, about your hobbies, about your take on literature and film in general.
Hi, my name is Esosa Nyegwena, class of 2026. And my question is, what led you to Chadron State and where did you teach before Chadron?
Kind of a long route, I guess. I went to Florida State for my PhD, and I taught at 2 colleges in Florida in between. And then I was writing my dissertation, and I was no longer funded. So I moved to New York City. And I was living in New York City in the East Village working as an editor while I was writing my dissertation. And then when I finished that, I started looking for jobs, academic jobs, and this one came up, and here I am. So I've been here a long time.
Hi, Dr. Tucker. My name's Kenan Carrasco. I'm the class of 2027 here on campus. And my question is at what point in your life did you decide that you wanted to become a teacher? And who or what encouraged you to become an English and humanities teacher?
Well, that's a good question. From the moment I first walked on a college campus, I knew that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. I love it. I love learning. I love reading. I love teaching. But it all started with my very first philosophy class. And when I was 18 years old, very first semester, I was hooked. So I decided to major in philosophy and then get a master's degree in interdisciplinary humanities with philosophy emphasis. And the reason I did the humanities was because the philosophy department where I went was all what's called analytical philosophy, and I was continental philosophy. So the only way to be able to get a continental philosophy degree, which means you take courses in other fields such as literary theory, communications, anything that has a philosophical bent to it, where analytic philosophers don't really do that. Continental philosophers are all about culture, art, and things like that. And so that's kind of what got me into it. And then I just never looked back.
Awesome. Thank you.
My name is Shelby Westinghouse, class of 2028 here at CSC. And Dr. Tucker, my question for you is there a piece of literature that has helped shape you academically or personally? And if so, could you explain what it is and how it shaped you?
Are you talking about a novel? Are you talking about a book or any?
Either way.
Either way. Probably a book by Jacques Derrida called Of Grammatology. And it's when I first read it, was reading it, it's so dense. I actually threw the book against the wall and gave up on it for a week. And then I went back to it. I started understanding it. And it just changed my mode of philosophizing, I guess, my mode of thinking. Because he has a method called deconstruction. And it kind of pushed me into that direction. So I wrote my dissertation on deconstruction. It's difficult, but probably that book, I'd say.
All right, thank you.
Hi, Dr. Tucker. I'm McKenna Fisher, class of 2026 here at Chadron. I wanted to know what's the most difficult aspect of getting a book published?
I've only published academic books, and maybe 5 people in the world read them. So the hardest part is writing a book proposal and get it past an editor and publisher. And then the next hardest part, of course, is writing it. And the next hardest part is all the editing and proofreading. And so it takes a long time. It takes about a year. I don't know about novels or things like that, but academic books are drudgery. and I'd say, but that's probably the hardest part, finding a publisher, doing your research and editing. Oh, and I forgot to tell you the $10 royalty checks that you get every year.
Oh,
Yes, that's a hard part too.
This question was submitted by Taylor Birch. Taylor asks, what inspired you to write about the snowbank incident, and how do you turn ideas into poems?
None of my poems are real. They have nothing to do with me. They're not personal. They're all imaginary. And I look at poetry as just a way of look again. So you're walking down the street and you see leaves fall, let's say in the fall, and but then you just look and see a leaf by itself falling, and you realize that that's a unique event that will never happen again. And so that kind of inspires me. And then surrealism is a big inspiration for me for poetry.
And I've got to follow up with this. Since it's all fueled by or created by the engine of your imagination, many of your poems, how do you deal with writer's block? Have you ever experienced it?
I'm experiencing it right now.
How do you get through that?
Wait. I guess. I mean, I don't know. You just wait for something to happen, or you go through your busy day all day long. You're doing things and you just don't notice things, and so maybe just taking time to notice something that isn't always that's usually looked over. I'm not an artist. I don't consider myself a poet either. I write poetry, but that's what an artist does. He or she will look at this what would you call this?
Backdrop.
Yeah. And you'll see in it lots of different other colors than just black. There's purples, there's blues, but you have to have time to look.
So taking time to smell the roses, perhaps.
In a way, yes.
Trying to decompress and maybe not stress so much about writing something, and perhaps instead be more observant.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday is the past. That's gone. That bothers you. It leads you to regret. The future has not come yet. That bothers you. But today, so live today. But again, it's hard to do when you got your other things to do all day long, and we just take those for granted. Like a cup of coffee, holding a cup of coffee in your hands while it's hot. We usually just drink it, but sometimes you just feel like, man, that warmth feels good. God, look at the crema on that. Oh, and that's it.
Wow, well put.
I'm Austin Glanz, class of 2027. Now, Dr. Tucker, in your book, how do you pronounce that?
Peripatetic.
Peripatetic. The peripatetic frame, its large and small-scale focus on the walking and motion pictures is made clear in this segment on the plan of the book. It's made me wonder, where did your acknowledgement for the art of walking come from? And were you doing research for it, or was it just something that hit you one day?
That's a good question. I've walked the Camino de Francais in France in stages 4 times. Not for religious reasons, but just for cultural reasons. I mean, you're on this Roman road, and you come around. There's just a little house that says Charlemagne's son was born here. Stuff like that is why I like it. And so I taught a course on philosophy of walking here, and that kind of inspired me to look at walking in film, because film was originally created for motion studies, to learn gaits and anatomy, and then it continued into more types of cameras that could follow walkers and things like that. So I argue in the book that human beings, what makes us human, other than spiritually, what makes us human perhaps is we walk on 2 legs. We're bipedal. The only other creature that might do that is a Sasquatch. I don't know. But we also make fire, and we cook our food. And you can find all 3 of those in the camera, in the cinema. So walking before digital, the role of film is marching fire is the light, and cooking the food is the actual image coming onto the frame. Image making too also makes us human beings.
I've never viewed that way with the fire and the cooking as well. That's very interesting. Never heard of that. That's very awesome. Thank you very much.
Sure,
Appreciate it.
Sure thing, Austin.
If you're just tuning in to this episode of CSC Chat, audio production students at Chadron State College are interviewing Dr. Thomas Deane Tucker, Professor of English and Humanities.
Hi, my name is Alosign Samuel, class of 2028 at Chadron State. Dr. Tucker, I do have a question for you. So in one of your works, you do mention about art, like stuff like poem, painting, and all those stuff. It's actually being framed by external forces, like the culture you are from, and also like the kind of educational background you do have. And I do actually find that very interesting. Can you please kind of like throw more light on that, please?
You're talking about frame as in what frames us as social beings?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, this is going to sound really strange, and it might sound a little long, but what is your native language?
Creole.
Creole.
Yeah.
Creole. Okay, so where did that come from? You didn't make it up.
No.
Correct? Where did you get it from?
I was just born and just start to listen to people.
And from your parents. And where did they get it from?
I think from their parents.
Their parents. So it's not really yours.
Right.
So everything that you have, everything that you do was somehow framed you. So that language can frame the way that you look at the world, but it also frames yourself, who you are. Because I don't think it's possible to have a thought without language. So your thinking is language, and that language comes from outside of you. So that frames who you are. Does that make sense? And then all the other social forces, we're all in this together. We're all made out of the same atoms. We're all connected. Right? So we have to love each other. We have to be kind to each other. We have to be compassionate to one another, to animals, to plants. So when I look at you and you look at me, we are radically changing each other's atomic structure because I'm exchanging photons with you. So that means, in the words of the Beatles, I am you, you are me, we are all together. Right?
All right.
Just being a human being frames our outlook. And we are born sentimental creatures, I think. And we have to take care of one another and the animals and even plants. Plants might be conscious. Now that's bad because how we can eat. That's what
Sweet.
I mean.
Thank you so much.
All right, my name's Quinn Anderson. I'm the class of 2027. My question is, in an article written, it's actually on the Chadron State website, you said, poetry is a way of breaking out of logical and rational thinking and being fully present.
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, when you think of logic, you think of, let's say, logically the sun puts out sunlight. There's a physical thing about it that you can follow, cause and effect, all those things. But there's another way to look into the sun, right? And like, for instance, if I say to you, Juliet is a sun, you know where that's from, right? Juliet is my son, right? That's from Romeo and Juliet. It's not meaning that she is someone who's thrown out sunlight and that having a physical gas, whatever happens within the sun, hydrogen, it means something different. It means that she is Romeo's light of his life, and his heart is everything, and also his life revolves around him like ours does revolve around the sun. So that's what I mean.
Sweet, thank you.
Sure.
Julian Berrian, Associate Professor of Communication Arts.
What year are you at? Oh, I'm just kidding.
Well, I graduated a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But, Dr. Tucker, what advice would you provide someone who has a firm grasp on the fundamentals of writing, but for whom writing seems like a chore? What should that person do to become a more prolific and fluid writer?
I would take all the writing classes I could take And even for your research papers that you're writing, I would take creative writing, because you can be creative within a research paper. It doesn't have to be just all skull and bones. And I would just write. That's all you can do, just write. You get better just by practice.
Just like any other exercise, you exercise your finger muscles to become more proficient at, I don't know, arm wrestling or grappling.
Yeah.
Writing every day in a journal or a diary.
Sure. Yeah.
Wow.
And try to publish. Don't be afraid. Rejection probably, I probably had 22 rejections this year so far. So.
What keeps you going after, I guess the first rejection's the hardest, but what keeps you going after that rejection?
Well, the only real audience for writing is yourself, for that kind of writing, not if you're doing research writing. In research writing, you're in college, you're learning a foreign language that we're not used to speaking or writing, and that's called standard edited English. Now, that is the lingua franca of the academy. It doesn't mean it's the only way to write. You can write in your own diction, whatever. This is just another tool in your toolbox. But you will not, for instance, get a job interview if you write in your normal, everyday, casual way. You have to learn this system, because that's what's expected when you write a job letter, or that's what's expected when you write an article for a journal. That's why I say it's the foreign language, because it's lingua franca. You guys know what all that means, right? It means the language of that area, of that field. So there's a language of rock journalism, there's a language of poetry, and then there's a language of academia. And everybody will expect you to write like that as you go through college. And if whatever job you get, for instance, I don't know what you're majoring in, but if say you're majoring in accounting and they want to report that day, they don't want it to start with, dude, look what's going on in this ledger. Man, it sucks. It's really bad. No, you have to say a professional report. So it's all kinds of ways of learning to write, all kinds of writing. But for your own creative writing, or for whatever, if you want to write research or write a book, then you kind of have to navigate those different kinds of dictions. Do you agree?
I do. Versatility is critical, and repetition is the mother of skill, as they say, for certain. What is on the horizon for you in terms of your next creative product, a book or a class?
A retirement letter. That's my first one in a couple of years. I don't know, actually. This is going to sound very strange, but there's a place called Sauges in France. And there was, in the 1830s, there was a wolf, a giant wolf, that killed 280 people. And they don't know what it was. They have no clue what kind of creature it was. It might have been an escaped hyena. I don't know. I would love to research that. I would love to, maybe solve that mystery or something like that. That would be an interesting project. Other than that, I'm writing a book right now on Stoicism in the cinema, but it got kind of waylaid when I got ill. So, but I'll probably pick that back up.
Excellent. Okay. And I know I will keep my eyes peeled for that. Dr. Tucker, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Nice to meet everybody.
And I'd like to thank you, our listeners, for tuning in and joining us from wherever you're listening to this. This is Julian Berrian, Associate Professor at Chadron State College, signing off.